this session. So I think we will be going through what are the challenges enterprises are, currently facing with the large language models. I'm, basically, assuming that everybody is pretty much familiar with large language models and, ChatGPT. So I won't go through it. We will go directly that what are some of the challenges the enterprises are currently facing using large language models. And then I think about 2 weeks back, Microsoft came up with a new product which is called Microsoft Copilot. So that is based on the GPT 4.0. So we will be talking about the Microsoft Copilot, right? And most of this session will be on the generative AI use cases, right? So we will show you real life use cases of generative AI. And then at the end, we will play a game, a quiz game, and the top three winners will receive some gift at the end. Okay. So let's start. So just a high level about us. So we have been in business for about 20 plus years. We are about 2000 plus employees worldwide. We are the winner of the best place to work in Chicago for the past couple of years. We are also ISO certified. We are business partners with AWS, Microsoft, and so on. So I think whenever we go to any company right now, all the high level management is asking the same question. What is a task that I am already doing that can be improved by generative AI? Okay, so this is the number one question which everybody is asking right now. So if you go to any vertical, right, either financial, healthcare, automotive, there are a lot of use cases which you can do with generative AI. And a good way to find that out, I'll just walk you through this site. This is a site which is developed by Deloitte. So you can come out here, you can select the vertical. So if you go to Deloitte.com, and then if you just search Deloitte and then generative AI, this site comes up on Google. And then if you select the vertical, and whichever vertical you are focused in, let's say that I go to financial services, I can see all of the use cases out here, right? So I can see that in financial services, generative AI can basically help me to basically enhance customer support. It can help me to do research. So rather than you figuring out, this will be like a jump start for you, right? So just wanted to share that with you, and let's move on. Okay. Okay. So now, what are some of the challenges enterprises are currently facing? You're using large language models. That anybody wants to share feedback? It is right there, but so I think one of the feedback, which a lot of people, a lot of big brands are facing is called hallucination, right? So if I go to basically Nike, or if I go to any of the top five brands, right, and if they are responding with me back with the wrong response, that is not good, right? So hallucination is the number one problem. Okay, so they want to make sure that whatever response the large language model is replying back has to be right, right? And then the second thing is that instead the large language model just respond back with the public data, they want to respond it with their own data, right? So that is a number two problem. And the third is the security. They don't want large language model to be trained with their own data. So these are the three problems there right now. So LLMs are often wrong with basically answers, but they are very confident about it. So if I go to ChatGPT 3.5 and ask a question, right, that did Silicon Valley Bank collapse? Right? It will give me a reply that Silicon Valley Bank has not collapsed. It is still operating as a successful financial company. But you and me know that Silicon Valley Bank has collapsed, right? Now, the fun part is that if I change this, question a little bit. So if I change it to why did SVB collapse, then it will change the particular answer. The SVB collapsed due to combination of factors like it collapsed because of the subprime mortgages. But you and me know that it did not collapse because of subprime mortgages. It collapsed because of the higher rates, right? So what is going on out here? So so the number one reason is hallucination, right? It is giving you outdated knowledge. So how do you fix that, right? Because if you're using this in your company, you want to make sure that that these sort of problems don't show up. Now you might say that okay, this is something new, that's why it is happening, but this also happens for past events. So if I ask a question back in 2017, so if I ask how many Model 3 vehicles were produced by Tesla in Q1 2018, it will give me an answer that it produced about 34,000 vehicles. And it also tells me that he got this data from the 2018 shareholder letter, right? But if you go and open up the shareholder letter, you will see that it is not 34,000, it is about 7,000 vehicles. So maybe one of the reason why it is giving you the wrong answer is because model has not seen this data at the time of training, but that is not true because it is clearly saying that it got this data from the 2018 shareholder letter. So maybe it is confusing and mixing up with so many numbers, right? So these sort of problems you will face in your LLMs. So how can we reduce hallucination and how we can teach LLM new
Max, I have a
new
question here.
information? Yeah,
So
yeah,
is this
please.
true for any LLM or is it only true for with ChatGPT?
Uh, I think this particular thing, we have tried with, Chat GPT 3.5. But if you try with other, large language models, you might get different, responses. But hallucination is a common, a problem which you will face. Okay. So
Okay.
how we can reduce hallucination, right? So if you see our
Oh,
current framework, the way we are currently answering right questions, the way it works is that I have a question, I basically create a prompt, and then I send that prompt to the large language model, and then I get a a response, right? So this is a format which I use right now. So what we will do that is a new concept now. How many people are familiar with RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation? Okay, so you are familiar with it. So this is something new which came out about a couple of months back, and this literally changed everything, right? Because now you can reduce or completely diminish, hallucination. So what it does is that so it says that instead of you using the data which the LLM has, you are saying that you get the question, you use a vector database, and then in this vector, database, you have all of the data which belongs to your, company. And then when you have a question, you basically go to the vector database, you, get the relevant files, and then you send the files, to the prompt, and you basically ask the LLM that whatever question you will respond, only use the files which I am, giving it to you. So I think don't use anything outside that particular files. Okay, so This is called retrieval augmentation generation, RAG. Okay, so with this architecture, you can bring the hallucination all the way to zero. And let's- okay, now how do you make this RAG?
So
famous?
doesn't limit the questions asked, to be asked. Like the question should be there, or it should be retrieved from the external database, right?
Yes,
So the kind of questions you are asking is actually limited to the content in the database.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. So if I am asking anything about my right, company, right? Let's say that I'm the, I mean, let's say that I mean, this particular chatbot is for, Nike, right? So Nike has all of his corporate, files, all of its sales, data, everything is in this particular, right, database. Now, if I ask any question, it is getting only the right, data from this file.
So my question is, questions to be asked is limited over there, right? It should be based on the database. If, for example, you can only ask questions related to Nike on
Yeah.
this particular ChatGPT, right?
I mean, yeah, and I mean that could be, I mean, if I'm asking something like related to like a CTA, right? So I will be asking only a CTA questions, right? I mean, I won't be asking on a CTA, about anything which is not related to CTA, right? I will be asking about the routes, the trains, the this and that, right? Which is limited to your thing, right? So that,
Which is different on the ChatGPT because ChatGPT doesn't have any kind of boundaries right now. You can ask anything to ChatGPT and it would give you a, yeah, it might be a hallucination, but
Yes.
still give you a,
yeah, but I think if you have like use cases, right, where you need public data plus your own, yes, you can, I mean, use that, right? But it all, basically depends on the use cases.
yeah. So basically, it is kind of a training database in between because we are partnering with Google
Yeah.
for chatbot. So there we use a training database in order for us to respond.
Yes.
Right. So exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So another way to if you are not using this RAG, right? And I mean, you want to just use this large language model. Another option is that you do fine, tuning of this large language model with your own files, right? Data, but that is a very complicated process. And plus, if you have like new, data, right, which is getting, basically updated, right, daily. You cannot fine tune the large language model, basically every day, right? You might do the fine tuning once a month or once every 6 months, right? But you cannot do it every day, fine tuning, because fine tuning is a very long process, right? Yeah, so that's the problem. Yeah, so I think right now, I mean, basically everybody's using this RAG, and I mean, it is working very well for a lot of companies. So now, now if I know the framework, I mean, which works and I mean, which doesn't have any, hallucination, how can I make my LLM bot to, production and I mean, what type of uh, challenges do I face? So these are some of the challenges which we have faced when we went live with this framework. So the first challenge, I mean, which we faced was creating a scalable production-ready vector. Okay, so that whole, database, how you can make it production ready. The I mean, second problem which we faced was, iterating on and evaluating the bot to ensure it provides correct answers. So we want to make sure that it is providing the right answers. The third one is how we can leverage open source model, right? Because there is ChatGPT, other ones, there is also free ones like Meta and others. So which is the right LLM for my use case? Okay, that is another challenge. And then deploying the bot as an scalable API, and finally collecting feedback from stakeholders that this particular ChatGPT is working properly or not. But how do you get feedback, right? So there is no feedback mechanism right now. So there are some, but there is not like a simple report where you can just run and see that okay, all the responses which the ChatGPT provided was 90% right or not right or blah blah blah.
I was under the assumption saying like ChatGPT learns from the responses which you have given on a regular basis, but it is all always depending upon the training data set.
Yeah, so I think you might have seen that. I mean, when you ask something, right? Inside ChatGPT, then it gives you that feedback loop. That was this response good or not good, right? So that is the feedback. So the more you say yes, it was good, that's how the person who is responsible for that particular bot knows that this ChatGPT is like giving the right responses or not.
Yeah, don't you think like that is used as a training database for ChatGPT to respond better in the future?
So that response, yeah, I mean, you can use that to then tune your large language models. So that's right, yes. But I mean, right now, the only feedback mechanism which you have is those up and down. Like, it was like good or not good. Okay. Okay. So we know the framework, which is RAG. Okay. We know what are the, problems which we face when we move our ChatGPT to, production. Now, what are the Microsoft Copilot? So Microsoft, about 2 weeks back, they came up with a new product called Copilot for Microsoft 365, which is based on the RAG framework. Okay. So you can use the Microsoft Copilot, which is coming from Microsoft, or you can also create your own Copilot. Okay, Studio. Okay, so I will now show you what is Copilot for Microsoft 365 is, and how you can, if you don't want to use Copilot for Microsoft 365 and you want to create your own, why you would do that, and when will you use this? Okay, so this is really amazing, right? I mean, you will get something really, really powerful. Okay, so how does Copilot for Microsoft 365 works? So I will go to the Microsoft 365 ChatGPT, and then I will ask him a question that summarize the latest update on the Fabricam project. Okay, I will ask that question. The ChatGPT will make a call to the Microsoft Graph. Now the Microsoft Graph knows everything. So if I have a Microsoft 365 login, right? So it knows everything about my emails, about my messages, about my Teams, about my PowerPoint files, Word files, everything. So it will go to the Microsoft Graph. It will go through all of this, documents. It will then get the right files, which is related to this particular question, and then it will send that document to the LLM. Okay, it will send the document to the LLM, and the LLM will then respond back with a response. It will again go back to this semantic index and the Microsoft Graph to just make sure that that particular response doesn't have anything which is not part of your guardrails. Guardrails means that it should not have any bad languages and whatever your company doesn't want in the response, right? And then you will get the response back. Now this is available out of the box, so you just pay $30 a month per user. You will get this ChatGPT. So right now, in our company, we use SharePoint, right? Because we have all of our Word files, this files in SharePoint. If somebody says that, okay, go me and get all the thing about the Fabricam project, what will I do? I will go to my SharePoint. I will do a search. The search will bring up 5 files. I will have to go through each file and and then figure out that which is the right file for me. And then whatever I am looking for from that file, then I have to figure it out myself. All that is gone now. So you just have this Microsoft 365 Copilot. You basically ask the question. It will get you the right answer from all of those files, summarize it to you, and then show you. Okay, so that is what it is. Now, a lot of companies wants to have third-party applications, right? I mean, I think your company might have a lot of like, they might be using other applications outside Microsoft, like ServiceNow, or they might be using Salesforce, or basically they might have created their own custom, application. So you can also, basically extend Microsoft Copilot. Okay. Or you can, build your own Copilot also. And I mean, there are these are some of the tools available. I mean, you can use Microsoft Copilot Studio, which I will show you shortly, live demo of it, or you can also use Azure AI Studios. Okay. So Microsoft 365 is like based on two things. One is called skills, and the second is called knowledge. Okay, so what is skills and what is knowledge? So if I see out here, so this is what you get with the $30 license. You get access to all of your 365, and the good part is that it has the security built in. So if I am your manager, and if and you ask some question, but I mean you don't have permission to those files, then you won't see that response. So all that is in there covered, right? Now, if I'm asking a question that show me the data for this particular product, and that data is also in some of my Salesforce application. So I can use the Copilot for Microsoft 365, extensibility, and I can create a plugin if I want to call, APIs of different, applications, or I can, using the graph connectors, I can get data which is outside Microsoft 365 applications. Okay, so how do you create a plugin, and how do you connect to graph connector? So currently my Microsoft Graph only knows about my Microsoft 365 applications, right? Which is PowerPoint, Word, Excel, Outlook, Teams, right? It doesn't know any other data warehouse which I have. So if I want data also from those warehouses, then I use graph connectors. Okay. If I want to call, application which is outside the Microsoft 365 application, like from Salesforce, basically, SAP, Oracle Fusion, then I have to create a plugin. And there are hundreds of plugins out of the box available also. I will show you that. Okay. Sure. Okay, so here is a quick demo. And in this demo, what I have done, I've took Microsoft Copilot and I have connected it with Jira. So Jira is a completely separate app. I have paid $30 a month for Office 365. I'm asking a question. Show me all issues related to this particular thing, and find me also the knowledge base, articles for it. Okay. So I am asking a question, it will call the right plugin, it will get the response back, and then it will combine it and then show it to me in this thing. So if you out here, so I'm asking a question, find any Jira tickets about DNS issues that then draft an email and send to the user based on the help desk knowledge base article on flushing DNS. So it basically it goes, search the Jira, it gets all of the related tickets, it then composes an response, and then it sends an, basically email out. And then I can also update, and then from here only I can just go to Jira, and I can just mark that particular ticket closed. So, and it also shows me that from where it, I mean, got this particular uh, data from, and I mean, I don't have to go to another application. I can just come out here and I can just mark this finish closed. So if I don't have this, right, then I have to do what? I have to go to Jira, I have to do a search, I have to find all the DNS flushing, you know, tickets, and then I have to get those numbers, and then I have to get the knowledge articles which other people wrote, that how did they close it. I have to combine all that. I have to then summarize that, and then I have to send that how to solve that particular problem to somebody. All that might, like, take me half an hour or maybe more, right? But now I can just do it like this, which I just showed you within a minute. So I mean, you can see that the benefit is a lot. Any questions out here? So let me just quickly show you a quick demo for those people who are not fit. How many people have tried Copilot Studio before? Anybody have tried Copilot Studio now? Okay, a little bit about this, right? Okay, awesome. So, so I think if you want to try, I mean, the Copilot Studio, just go to copilotstudio.microsoft.com, and then you log in. I think the login is free. I think, like, if you log in, I mean, like, you get about a 60-day trial or so. Okay, and then once you are on that site, you basically go to generative AI, and then you enter your site name. So I'm out here creating a chat GPT, sort of a chatbot for crystalcruises.com. So if you go out here, this is what the Crystal Cruises looks like. So I know the vacation is coming up. I mean, like, you guys might be like thinking of going for a vacation. So you come to the site, and then out here you can see all the different cruises and destinations, right? Instead of browsing all that and then doing the reservation, I can now do everything through ChatGPT. Okay, so I came out here to the and I gave the name, right? And that's about it. Now, all the data which is in that website is now inside the ChatGPT repository. So now I can ask any question. So if I go out here and I can just shut tracking off, and I will ask a question. If anybody has any question, or I can just use my question. What ships are there in Crystal Cruises? So it shows me that Crystal Cruises have two line of ship. One is called Crystal Serenity and Crystal Symphony. So I just recently did a booking in this Crystal Cruise website. So I want to know about my booking. Okay, so I will ask, uh, what is my booking for? Tell me about my booking, or tell me about my booking. So it is asking me that, sure, I am happy to help you find that information. Do you have an existing booking? So my question to you guys, if you just use ChatGPT, will ChatGPT will be able to do this or not? No, right? Because ChatGPT cannot go to your particular booking applications APIs and then call the data. But with Copilot, you can do it. How you can do that? So now I have, like, made this tracking on. So it will show me on the right hand side what's going on, right? So you are now doing, debug mode. So it is asking me that you have an existing booking. So I will enter it, and then it is asking me that please provide your booking number. My booking number is RC MP001 and I do enter. So you can see on the right hand side that it is called, like, you can see what's going on, right? So, so you are now combining the LLM with your own flows also, right? So LLM can ask everything about what is the weather is, blah, blah, blah. Show me the how to get from my home to this ship, right? All that can be answered through the LLM. But if you are asking a question which is related to your own uh, booking number or anything else, right, that can be answered through the your own flow. Okay. So it's basically went and then it called the particular API and it got all the bookings. See my name out here, my email address, everything, what did I go? And then it is asking me, would you like to see some recommended exclusions availability? Yes, because if I'm going for a cruise, I just don't want to sit on the boat. I want to do something out there like a jet ski and blah blah blah, right? So I will say that, okay, show me all the different excursions which are available. If I don't have that, then I have to find all of this on the website, right? Which is complicated, right? Like, you have to now know your booking, where are you going, and then you have to find that particular thing, right? Because how you, so the ChatGPT is basically connecting both of them together. So out here, it basically gives me all of the different things available. And okay, now I can say that, is there anything else that I can help you with? I say no. So after I say no, then it basically tells me that before ending the conversation, would you like to get booking information details via email? Yeah, sure. Why not? So it will send me a mail to my. Now, if I don't want to send the email, if I want to send a message on my phone, how do I do that? It's very easy. I basically go out here, I go to the plus sign. Okay, I basically add a note and I go and I call in, action, and I go to the connector and then I search for SMS. And there are a lot of SMS calls available. Like I mentioned it to you that it has a lot of built-in, connectors available out of the box. If I don't want to do an SMS message, if I want to update a certain database, so I can say SQL update. Sorry, I can go back out here, connector preview, can go to SQL, and then SQL has all sort of, if I want to update a service now, right? So because ServiceNow is a very common thing, I can get all these ServiceNow. I can create a record there, get record. Okay. So anything, all the connector, you can also build your own plugin if you have a custom, which, there's a whole, if you just YouTube, you will know how to create a whole plugin for yourself. Yeah.
So you're currently using it on the Copilot Studio as a developer, right? It can be published and
I think I'm just saying, yeah, absolutely. If you can just make it live, if I go to publish and I say publish, it will like publish it live, and it will bring up a thing on their website. Yeah, that's a very good question. Sorry about yeah, I should have mentioned. Right. So I mean, you can see that now you can combine the LLM feature with your own flows also, and
so
then
$30 a month. You just took one user, you created this. Now entire world can use this chatbot.
so this Copilot Studio, the bot which I'm using, this is free.
This is
Because I'm not using the Microsoft 365.
okay.
Yeah, I know it is confusing because they have tried to make it very confusing. So Microsoft 365 Copilot is $30. So here it is. You can see this 30. Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365. If you develop a Copilot with this Copilot Studio for your own website, which has nothing to do with Microsoft 365, I don't know how much that is. But I think I think it comes with because if I go to Copilot.microsoft.com, it comes up. I think it is free, right? Yeah. I think if you have a Microsoft 365 account, it comes free for you. Yeah.
Microsoft 365 Copilot, the one we are selling, right? It is for a tenant list. Anything in your organization. So data is private, nothing public. So it tells you all the information related to what is inside your organization. But what we are talking about, you can plug in any site here. Okay. And then do the integration, set up and then pull the data and then get the results. This is something you need to build. That one they already provided for all the enterprise level customers, and we can purchase the license and then leverage it.
I mean, if you want, like, Microsoft, like, if you want, like, just rather than you go to Microsoft Word and Microsoft, Excel, or Teams, or separately, you just want a Copilot where you can just ask question, it goes to your M365 apps, gets the answer, replies you back. Then you need to get this particular license, which is M365 pricing, which is $30 per user per month.
This is just a developer license, right?
This is not the developer license. This is for the user.
Oh,
And then you can, if you want the 365 Copilot to be, used with your own custom applications, right? You can then do that also, but that can be done, behind the scenes. But everybody who is using it, that particular Copilot instance, have to pay $30 per month. Okay, great. So we saw this. Okay, let's see some live demos of what we can do now. Okay, with this app. So I think we basically understand RAG. We, understood the Copilot. We basically understood. Now, what are some of the new things we can do now? So New York City just released their first ChatGPT. So now I can basically go to now I can go to the New York City site and ask any question. So this is developed using ChatGPT 4.0. Like, this is a live example. So if a New York City mayor is doing it, I think every single county, every single state will be doing it. So I just recently got a traffic, violation ticket. So if I want to ask that, how do I pay for my traffic violation ticket? And it will give me the whole answer. If that's okay. How do I pay for my traffic violation ticket? Give me something else. So some other question. How do I avoid?
Book Empire State Building tickets. Something. I mean, where do I get the best biryani in Manhattan?
No, this is not. This is for my city, general. This is for the city of New York. Yeah.
Empire State Building tickets and what are the holiday lights in New York?
Well, what are the holiday
Permits.
Yeah, permits. Yeah, I think that is a more valid question. What are the permits needed for new shop? What are the permit needed for new shop? Yeah. Yeah, I think something is wrong with that. But it works. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's really have some use cases
Yeah.
and it would only respond to the use case.
No, I think it was working very well. I think something is.
Yeah, that's what I saw in chatbot from Google.
Yeah.
You need to have a use cases and then based on that it responds to it.
How do I avoid it?
That may not be answering it, right?
Yeah. Avoid noise violation complaints for your construction company, or you can blah 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 do this. Okay. Anyway, so that is one of the use cases I wanted to show you. Let's move on to the other ones. And then okay, so ChatGPT 4.0. Besides reading files, it can now also detect images and videos. So if I give 4 images and I give this one. And I ask him, okay, this is the right one now. Now I'm asking him the green circle is showing a perfect screw head, and the remaining four pictures show the screw heads that you are testing. Please rate each of these screw heads of whether they are defective or not. And it will let me know that one or two are not right. So now you can also do images now. This is a very good use case. So I was planning to go to the Microsoft conference, and I want to, and I mean, like, they are doing a roadshow all over the world. Okay, like Denmark and Norway and blah blah blah. So I want to see that I want to create an application that based on my Outlook, can you see that which conference I can go to and what type of visa do I need if I'm flying, basically outside US. If I do it the old way, I have to fill out a form and then, like, do the visa thing myself and then submit a ticket. It's a whole long process, right? Everything is now automated. So I basically take one screenshot of that conference, give it to the ChatGPT. The ChatGPT will basically scan it, and then it will create everything. It will ask for my passport. It will see that if I need visa, and if I need visa, it will then apply in the service now for the visa. So here is a live demo of it. So you can see out here, it is, I have checked your Outlook calendar and I found that you are available for the Mumbai, India trip. And then I upload my passport copy, and then it's my passport valid for this trip, right? And it says that I can help it says that you will need a visa, and then it basically created a service now ticket for my visa. So all can be done automatically.
Can it identify handwritten documents?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes. It can do amazing things, yeah. This is a really good application. So I think this is exactly your question. So if you see, a lot of our recipes are, like, written on, like, notebooks and blah blah blah, right? So I will take a photo of that. It will then get all of the recipes, and it will automatically add it to the Instacart app.
What ingredients you need?
What do I need to, like, basically that particular recipe, and those, basically ingredients which I do not need, and then I can just remove it from my list, and then I can place that order. If I don't have this, then I have to add everything, find everything in that. So it can read it, put it in the app shopping cart, and then you just send it out.
This is biryani.
That's a good app. Yeah. Another application is that if you have a car, damage, and I mean you have to file a report. I mean, instead of you going to a car dealer and I mean, like, he does the whole check. Now you can create an application where you can say to the ChatGPT that you are an expert. Create an incident report, and it will basically create it for you, right? So it basically took the video of that particular car, and then it returned me back with the whole report. So I mean, it basically gave me the license plate number, car make, model, and then it also gives me what is the damage it found on the car, and I mean, it will also give me that what could be the cause of that damage. So that is amazing, right? Because of its knowledge, it knows that uh, there was some scratches on the right hand side, driver side window. So it knows that scratch, I mean, came because you basically hit your car in some place out there. So So all the report, I mean, like, which somebody would write manually, like, can be written by the ChatGPT. Okay, let's do a quick quiz on what you have seen so far. So if everybody can take out their mobile phone, and if you can scan this particular code, and the top three winners will get a prize. So I will give like 1 minute for everybody. I mean, like, who is also joining virtually. Please scan this code and please enter this game. And the top three winners will get a prize. Yeah, I see that two people have joined in. You have to log in, or how does it work?
You can use a Google login. I mean, they change something, it looks like.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can select a first you have Gmail. Earlier it was to text.
Now, after that, login, it's asking for joining internet. That's all.
Oh, is that? I think first is can you need to sign up?
Yeah, you need to say like you are a participant and you need to start a quiz. Then you have to put this 16126.
Just give me explain actually.
Yeah, these are the player you can
Once the quiz start, you will see the question. Oh, you didn't start up.
Yeah, so if everybody start, I think I'll just give 1 more minute to Asif and then we can start.
ترسلها.
the first demo that we prepared was for the insurance claim processing. So let's say on any unfortunate day, there was some accident and you immediately call the insurance company. They will take your complaint. They will send some inspector to assess the damage, and they will file the reports. And ultimately, it will be sent for the repair shop for the repairing. But it's not as straightforward behind the scene as that from the perspective of the inspector as well as the insurance company, because they have to do a lot of manual work to process the data, to record everything, and then mostly like analyze the data to come up with the final conclusion and with the next step and the resolutions. So first of all, they might have many different document formats. They would have email conversation. They might have images of the damage. They would have the handwritten reports. So there can be many different formats. And what they would do is once they have all this data, they would manually analyze it and make decisions based on the overall data of all the reports. And ultimately, they would make a decision on what the report, the damage is, how much claim they should, the customer is filing for. Ultimately, they will create a final summary and store it somewhere. Now, for one customer, this might be a good idea, but let's say there's a hailstorm or some snowstorm in any state, and you would get many claims at the same time, and doing all these things for like hundreds of people, that can be really time consuming. So let's see how generative AI can help us in this case. So we have a tool called Azure Vision that can analyze the images, and it can inspect the images and the images of the damage, and give you some inference, some ideas about what the damage is about. And we have Azure Document Intelligence that can analyze any kind of report that we have, all the PDF files, documents, and anything that they have. It can analyze those, and the Azure OpenAI will consolidate output from both the resources and get to the next step. So how this application would work? Let's say user will upload all the reports that they have to the model. The Azure Document Intelligence, it will first find out what the type of the document is. Then accordingly, it will try to fetch the details. It will call the relevant function to fetch all the important details from the document. And the Azure Vision would take the images, if there are any, they are uploaded any, and it would inspect them and get you the final, the extent of the damage. And lastly, it will analyze all the outputs and get you the final summarization and then maybe a resolution report. So let's see the demo quickly. So Ensure AI, first it takes some input. We will upload let's say we'll upload a one PDF file and one image of the damage. Once you upload it, it will start analyzing it. Just wait a second. Yep. So it's analyzing one by one. So type of insurance is liability insurance. Still trying to find more details. So key details would be the full name of the customer, the insurance ID, date of birth, email, and everything, all the details that would be present in there. And then once they evaluate the image, so if this image was passed, then it will, in this case, it's created a caption saying that the front end damage of the part of the car is damaged. And lastly, it will get you a final summary of the entire report. The main values that really matters is the claim amount, is it 2200, and what the damage is. So this kind of system can really help you speed up the entire process. You can just upload any customer reports and get you the final response time in a few minutes.
So if the confidence score is lesser for any document, for example, if I had a handwritten document.
Right. So there are different tools for each type of document. So for example, for handwritten, there will be an OCR tool, which is optical character recognition. So if we add that tool to the pipeline, then it can load the handwriting files and convert them to text files.
So my question is,
Okay. So you mean the output of the response, like?
how confident the AI is with
So
the
yeah, that part is not supported with the LLMs at this point. So because they only can extract the data from it and generate the next answer
there
responses.
is no workflow. You cannot add a workflow where suppose a conference for a handwritten document is low.
Okay.
They can't put it back to the any human review for further analysis.
Right. So those kind of things, LLMs out of box don't support them, but you can add a extra additional checkpoints. Like you, if you use another LLM, just say add an additional point of check. Just say this is the input, this is the output. Is this output correct? The LLM would, it's a different LLM, so it would analyze both the data as well as the output, and it will try to find out if the response is correct or not. So that is a one kind of check that you usually do with LLMs. So even if like first LLM got it wrong, the second LLM might got it. Um,
Yeah, I mean, over here it's completely kind of we are depending upon the AI to figure it out whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
So that you can't put a workflow where a human can interfere in between and the reviewer.
There are other tools that can help you do that, like UiPath or automation. RPA tools can have that functionality. We've done this with handwriting also. So if a certain field is picked up and the confidence interval is below a certain level that you have already set, it takes you to a console where human feedback can be taken away from it. And if a human confirms that this value that you are reading it as is correct, or maybe makes a correction there, and then submit that, the system learns through that feedback, and then next time it performs better.
Okay. So what's the tool called?
UiPath can do that. Very well. Yeah. Okay.
Did you create this workflow or this was a simple provided by your
so our team created this workflow. So this was corrected by us. Yeah. I think we did a little bit of literature research to find out, but for now, we just our goal was to showcase the use case of this. So that's why we went this way.
Platform is using,
Yeah.
but they are doing with the picture techniques. So you upload the pictures, and they have like a standard. If the bumper is damaged, that's the initial cost they have set in the system, $1,000, and you take it to the dealer, and then dealer, if there is any additional amount, they adjust through directly to the dealer. So I mean, there some of the insurance company has a little bit piece of it, but generative AI, I think here can give the more accurate piece that will improve them to do the correct evaluation and then final number like so I think that's a good feedback. Yeah, that's very
Can identify only the one.
It's not done.
Say for example, you hit a wall, but there's a noise which is happening on the rear because of this damage. It cannot do that.
No, but I mean, like, you can also take, video and video. So
Yeah, but it won't tell you. So I think that one say I had a similar example in experience. Yeah. So I took the pictures and uploaded all of them to Geico. And they said, can you open up the bonnet and take some additional pictures, which I did. And then they said, okay, the damage is too much to be assessed via the app. So we'll have to send somebody to kind of do that. Yeah.
You cannot
So
I think, I mean, for like, simple things.
yes. Cosmetic damages, yes. It can be accurate. I think the body part, the external body part is totally we can get it, but
chips and dents, they can, not internal.
But if you have like, something. But I mean, now like some GPT-4 vision supports also video. So people can now come up with use cases, right? Because if there's noise coming, like, you can now get also sounds plus videos. So you can check the sound and say, yeah, that's the sound, and you will have a plugin. So, but I mean, that can be done.
This one is a huge application for government offices, right, where you have handwritten documents. The process can be much more faster, where they can scan it and then load it into the system.
Yeah.
Right now, what happens is many of the places where it's not automated, and they have to manually enter and manually it can make a lot of mistakes. And
You saw that, right? That, I mean, that menu, right? That,
Yeah, handwritten document extract.
That's
And
the
yeah,
recipe one, right? So I mean, that was awesome, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we basically got the data and it basically edited.
so we are actually using tech stack from AWS or planning to use tech stack from
Tested from
AWS. We're actually
But I think GPT-4 vision would be much better because that's now the next level of things, right?
Yeah, the good thing about AWS is it actually provides APIs with 1.3, right?
Yeah, GPT-4 is also is same thing.
Yeah, so
Provides then, basically.
Yeah, Bedrock.
Yeah.
sorry,
You're talking about Bedrock, right? The Bedrock APIs.
no, 1.3 SDKs
Oh, yeah.
from AWS
Yeah.
that actually can talk to tech stack, get all the key value pairs for them.
Yeah.
Key value.
Let's see the next demo.
All right. So next is demo is Call Insight Pro. So we all have a we all had a like call with a customer agent at some point of time, and at some point we all were like disappointed about why it's taking so much time or what's like if you call them again and they forget everything what you talked about, then they have to like explain everything all of them again. So it's it's not like they don't want to help you, but it's just like they have like too many calls and they're not able to manage everything. So GenAI can make the process a little bit easier for that. So in this demo, we'll use the one of the tool is Azure Speech. Which can deal with all the recordings. It can transcript them. It can you can interact with those recordings, ask questions about them. The language part of this would deal with all the text data, and of course Azure OpenAI would consolidate everything together to get the final response. So how will this demo work? They would, let's say you have a bunch of audio files. The first model would transcribe all these files and identify which speakers are speaking when, like when the customer is speaking, when the customer agent is speaking. And once you have the transcript, then you can just connect with them, use the language tool to analyze the transcript and ask questions about them. So it will finally do three things for us. It will first get the sentiment analysis of the entire conversation, basically like, oh, is the customer happy or not? Like for some reason you are saying the customer is not happy, then you might be want to like give it a little bit more priority and move the ticket a little bit up. And of course, intent classification that will decide like what's the purpose of this call is so that you can internally classify those customers to different divisions. And last, it will also provide you a final summary of the entire call, so you don't have to listen for like a 5 or 10 minutes recording to get the final issue and the final resolution as well that was suggested by the agent. And lastly, if you still have any questions about it or something is not clear, then you can ask questions using this assistant chatbot that about these recordings. So let's see a quick demo for it. As I mentioned, the first option is you upload the upload the recording, and then it will get you some analytics about the call, and lastly, you will able to talk to the customer and this recording. So in this case, we have already uploaded a recording. Let's analyze this. I'll play a few seconds just so you know what this call is about. Okay, so this call is about someone inquiring about the loan, whether they can get the loan or not. So in the first part, this model basically like uh, transcribe the entire conversation and find out like when the agent is speaking, when the customer is speaking, and it will also classify each of the statement into positive, negative, or neutral, just to see whether the customer is happy or not. So in this case, like if you say thank you for calling, so that's a positive response. Similarly, you can get the overall picture of the entire conversation. This call summary is a final response when you just do for the storing the purposes, so that you get a quick overview of what this call is about. For example, reason for call is loan application, overall sentiment was positive, customer was happy, the quick issue summary, and the final resolution the agent suggested for the customer. So if you instead store this information along with all the recordings, then you don't have to watch everything again and just to find out the final answer. You can just read through these quick notes. Lastly, if you still have any questions, you can talk to the customer this chatbot that will take the recording and try to answer some questions for you. So you might ask simple questions like, what was the call about? So the call was about a loan inquiry. So you can continue asking similar questions to it, and it will help you. So any questions so far? Before we move to the final demo. All right. So last one is the travel agent. So the holiday season is coming up, and I'm sure most of you are planning to travel somewhere. When you travel, like the most important thing that comes up is the planning. When you have to book a room, find a hotel, you have to talk to the customer, the agents to see the rooms available or not, and all those steps. So GenAI can make this process again the easy. For every resort or restaurant or any hotel, they can create their own chatbot that can answer some common queries for the users. You might have noticed, like in website, there's a little chatbot on the right bottom of the website often. So basically that, but with the help of the GenAI to make it better. So how it would work? It will just user ask a question. The travel bot will connect to its own database and see if there are any open rooms or not, how many rooms are available, what are their prices, and everything it will send back to the user. And if the user give their consent to book, then it will take the information from them and store it in the database so that we know what someone who booked the room. So let's quickly say, let's say this is our small chatbot. I can just say, hi, I want to book a room. My internet is a little bit slow, so it's taking a little bit time, but what is expected is that it will tell you the list of rooms that are available for us and all the prices and the images. Then you can go through them and make your selections. So it's right now this is developed for a specific hotel, so it's connected to that hotel's database. Yeah.
So let's say if I want to use it on a particular website and I want the chatbot help or I want the AI help on that website, how do I go about it?
Basically, do you mean from the customer point of view or from the?
I'm the user.
Okay.
Now I want the AI assist to assist me on my booking. Same example.
Right.
I go to, let's say, Expedia. Okay. Now Expedia is a very vast website. There are many fields that you have to select, unselect, filter, unfilter, whatever, to arrive at narrowly where you want to kind of go, what you are looking at. Now, if I were to get the AI assist on, let's say, Expedia for my travel need, how do I go about it?
So I think, I mean, like, it will be something like, if you go up on the tab, you see, I mean, like, you have those, you see recommend me lodges for, Christmas. So you can, like, just ask, like, recommend me, like, lodges for me during this next week. So it will go in there, and then I'm like, it will, recommend you based on your family, right? So if I have a family of like size 6, then what would be the right lodge for me? So instead of you going and then doing a search and then, like, figuring it out yourself, yeah, I mean, LLM can do it for you.
That is a broad ChatGPT.
Yeah, that is a very broad, yeah. I mean, like, it should be recommend me a resort for 6 people in this price range.
So my question is more where you were showing about that cruise holiday and you were showing about the AI assist mapped to that cruise website.
Yeah.
Right? Now, let's say if I want to do the same thing as a user, how do I enable the AI assist to become a part of only that website where I'm searching for?
Yeah, so I think this particular chatbot will be for a particular site. Like it might be for like Great Wolf Resort.
Yeah.
So I think this particular
They
demo
will
was
create
like
some APIs.
developed for that.
They will export that for you.
Okay, so they have an API for reservation. They have a API for the
That's
EVS.
them. That's my question. That's them.
Yes, then you use that APIs in your chatbot. You tell the chatbot, say these are the APIs. You use this API for booking your reservation. This API for getting your images. This API for something else. And it will understand that scenarios, and based on the question you ask, it will use the appropriate API and get you the details you wanted.
But this is a highly technical answer to a very layman question that I asked. Please understand.
Yeah. No, I think
I'm a user. Not every user is so tech savvy. They don't even know what API is. Hypothetically speaking, listen, I want to go for
No, I think whatever you are saying, that's the same question which we got from Great Wolf Resort. I mean, Great Wolf Resort is one of the,
I mean,
yeah. So I mean, this particular demo was like basically developed for them. And so I mean, they said that I mean, right now, when I mean, people come to our website because we have so many centers, right, in Wisconsin and Michigan and blah blah blah. So I mean, people when they come to the site, they get lost, right? And so we want to use something like ChatGPT where they can just say that okay, I am a family of six coming from Chicago. I want to room for 3 days, this and that. It goes and gets me the right thing instead of you go through a bunch of searches to find that particular intent.
because there is the look at the monetization opportunity. If you make this model pay per use, imagine if you make this model pay per use. Let's say a model is available where I can rent it for 5 questions or 10 questions, and I pay per use. Imagine the monetization opportunity there.
Yes, yeah.
Right? I don't have to subscribe to it on a monthly basis. I use it only for my need to know basis at that point in time. I pay as per the
I think
question
this
that
is
I
a
ask.
new UI, right? I mean, this is a new UI. I mean, why does Salesforce, Microsoft, Google, everybody is jumping on this, right? Because they know that after 2, 3 years, nobody will use our Salesforce application they are using right now, that they are logging in and they are, basically adding a new, customer and new account and new opportunity, because that will all be just they will say something and it will happen, right? So that's the new UI. So this is what you're saying. This is the new UI. I think in the future there will be no concept of creating a website. Website is gone. If you just ask question and you get the vote for exactly. So that's it. But I guess, Anisha, because I think we are almost over.
So when I ask a question, I want to book a room, it searches database and got me all the details. Like there's a deluxe family suite, there's a family heaven, and whole bunch of things. Then it asked, do you want to see the pictures? Then I said sure. Then it just created a bunch of images that you can open, and of course we can customize this UI a little bit to show the images right there. So you can make the choice, and then it asks me which one do you interested in. I will just say family heaven suite, and before you proceed, may I have your full name, please? Then I can give it my name, and then this on the left side is a database where it is directly connected to it. So this page location. So let me just say Chicago. Tomorrow. Okay.
So you can see that you're not just doing it as a normal language, right? And it is.
Yeah, so you can just basically talk in natural language. You don't have to be very grammar accurate or spelling accurate. So I just say you want to stay for 2 days, so it will decide all those things. And lastly ask, could you confirm all the details? Let me just say yes, and it will proceed and update it in the database on the left side. Right, so on the left I can see the command name is file along with all the details. So that's all the demos we have for today. Thank you so much for joining. And if you have any questions, we are open for.
Great session. Thank you so much.